Imagine aircraft born in workshops, made from foam, cardboard, wood, and sheer passion, yet they soared. No exotic engines, no high-tech materials, just creativity, persistence, and homemade wings. This journey spans from minimalist toy plane builds to sleek cross-country kit designs, revealing how experimental flight blurs lines between art and engineering. It may look like a toy, but the Sky Pup flies with the confidence of a true aircraft. Designed by a former Cessna engineer, this ultralight features a wood frame and styrofoam skin, making it lightweight and affordable. It lacks ailerons, yet offers a surprisingly stable flight. With a structure resembling a giant model airplane, it delivers control, predictability, and the kind of freedom rarely found in builds this simple. And that's exactly why it became a cult favorite. The entire project was designed to be built at home, using basic tools and low-cost materials. Its fuselage, wings, and tail could be assembled on a garage floor. Once complete, it weighed under 250 pounds and took off with a modest push. Pilots praised how smooth it responded to inputs and how well it floated on final approach. Even in light turbulence, it maintained its line. Simplicity became its greatest aerodynamic asset. The Sky Pup flies at moderate speeds and consumes minimal fuel, making it ideal for local hops and short field operations. Its open-air configuration and light weight connect the pilot directly to the environment. No gadgets, no clutter, just flight in its purest form. Its low cost made it widely accessible, and it inspired hundreds of builders to take the leap from dreaming to flying with their own hands. For many aviation lovers, this was more than a weekend project. It was a gateway into the world of ultralights. And just when you think things couldn't get more unconventional than wood and foam, a radically different aircraft enters the picture, pushing simplicity to the extreme and redefining what it even means to be airworthy. If flying with styrofoam sounds extreme, try flying with cardboard. That's exactly what the Wing Ding did in the early days of ultralight experimentation. Made from cardboard, wood, and foam, and powered by a small go-kart engine with just 12 horsepower, this aircraft was one of the boldest ideas of the 1970s. No brakes, no fancy controls, just raw physics and courage. And yet, it flew, and that alone made history in backyard aviation. What made it legendary wasn't just the materials, but the attitude. It could be carried on top of a car and assembled anywhere. With barely enough power to stay aloft, it required careful piloting and perfect weather. Landing was a game of glide, judge, and commit. There was no room for error, but what it offered in return was pure, honest flight. No filters, just a seat, wings, and the wind pushing past your ears. It became a talking point at fly-ins and local gatherings, a symbol of aviation reduced to its core elements. There were no systems to fail, no gear to manage. Every part was visible and understandable. The pilot felt everything, the lift, the drag, the momentum. And even though its range and utility were minimal, the statement it made was massive. Flight doesn't have to be expensive to be real. And while this bare-bones approach pushed boundaries, others soon began to look for a middle ground. Aircraft that still embraced simplicity, but offered a bit more structure, performance, and long-term reliability for the home builder ready to invest just a little more in safety and comfort. Designed in the United States by Ron Howland, the Howland H3 Pegasus was built to offer performance with simplicity. With a metal frame, fabric-covered wings, and a two-stroke engine delivering between 30 and 35 horsepower, it cruised at around 60 miles per hour. Pilots enjoyed its long wings, smooth landings, and forgiving behavior, making it a great first build for anyone exploring personal aviation. Its open cockpit and high-mounted wing gave it an iconic silhouette. With a wide field of view and steady control response, it allowed the pilot to feel truly connected to the aircraft. The tricycle landing gear kept touchdown stable and predictable. For new flyers looking for a calm and reassuring experience, it brought comfort and control without overwhelming complexity or systems that required constant tuning. The real magic of this ultralight was in how accessible it was. Built entirely from detailed paper plans, it required only basic tools to complete. That made it perfect for home garages and weekend builders. Its popularity spread across amateur aviation circles, and soon it became a symbol of personal freedom, technical curiosity, and the belief that flight should be within reach of anyone with determination. But while some builders found satisfaction in classic designs like this one, others went in a more experimental direction. They were driven by a different energy, one that leaned into rebellion, personality, and style. What came next didn't just fly, it made a statement and turned heads on the runway before even leaving the ground. Developed in the Czech Republic, the Dingo carries the spirit of the early ultralight movement, but with a twist of modern defiance. It uses a motorcycle engine with 35 horsepower, giving it a cruise speed close to 60 miles per hour. Its light metal structure, short nose, and inverted V-tail give it a unique profile. Though small in size, its flight behavior is calm, controlled, and far more stable than its quirky look suggests. Unlike earlier minimalist designs, this one offers more safety and reliability. It handles light turbulence well, with responsive but gentle command inputs. Pilots who fly it describe the experience as relaxed and intuitive. Its short takeoff distance, low stall speed, and simple control setup make it beginner-friendly, without sacrificing the feeling of true flight that ultralight pilots crave. It was never just one designer's vision. It evolved through shared forums, modified plans, and real-world test flights. This open-source approach helped it spread fast. It could be built in a garage with basic hand tools and a modest budget. Complete models ready for takeoff can be found for about $15,000, depending on configuration and finishing. Despite its humble components, this aircraft always turns heads at fly-ins. With its peculiar look and light engine hum, it carries a legacy of reinvention. And just when you think things couldn't get more unconventional, the next design takes everything we know about aircraft shape and flips it on its head, with wings that don't even look like they should fly. Built by Don Mitchell in the United States, the Mitchell U-2 looks like it came straight from a sci-fi film. With an integrated wing design and rear-mounted engine, it blurred the lines between aircraft and spacecraft. Using a two-stroke engine producing between 20 and 40 horsepower, it could reach altitudes over 26,000 feet, a feat nearly unheard of for an ultralight in its class or configuration. Its bubble canopy and all-wing structure required skill and intuition to fly. Shifts in weight distribution had an immediate effect on stability, meaning pilots had to understand its behavior deeply. It wasn't just a machine, it was a challenge. But for those who mastered its quirks, it offered an unmatched experience in personal flight, full of nuance, power, and silence at high altitude. One standout feature was its folding wings, allowing it to be stored in garages and transported on trailers. This flexibility didn't come at the cost of performance. It soared efficiently, climbing steadily with minimal drag. Despite its intimidating appearance, it became popular among dedicated builders willing to spend time learning its systems and techniques in exchange for a futuristic flying machine. Although few were completed, those that took flight became legends among ultralight enthusiasts. Some kits remain in circulation, with prices averaging around $12,000 depending on condition. And after such an ambitious project, the next aircraft we meet takes things in a completely different direction. Simple, lightweight, almost transparent in the sky, and powered by an unexpected source. The Ultraflight Lazair rewrote the rulebook in the late 1970s. Designed in Canada, it used two chainsaw engines, each producing just 5 horsepower, but reached top speeds near 50 miles per hour. Its wings were long and thin, and its V-shaped tail gave it both stability and a striking silhouette. With a body wrapped in clear plastic film, it looked nearly invisible when flying under direct sunlight. Though the engines were small, their parallel configuration provided balanced thrust. Later versions swapped them out for Rotax engines, doubling the power and reliability. Builders praised how easily it responded to inputs, offering full 3-axis control, rare at the time. For many, it was the first ultralight that truly felt like a real aircraft, without sacrificing affordability or accessibility. Its versatility was unmatched. Some versions had floats for water landings. Others featured enclosed cockpits or extended range tanks. In 1984, it was even used for surveillance by California police during the Olympic Games. Its light build allowed it to perform quiet passes and extended observation missions, proving its value beyond personal recreation. For those seeking a similar spirit of freedom, but with more structure and traditional materials, another home-built icon was about to take off. It offered garage-friendly construction, solid crosswind control, and the kind of reliability that gave first-time pilots real confidence in their creations. Crafted for simplicity, the Affordaplane was built to fly under FAR 103 regulations at minimal cost. Made from 6061 T6 aluminum tubing, its fuselage bolts together without welding, and its wings use strut-braced ladder-style construction, foam or aluminum ribs with doped fabric covering. At just 254 pounds empty, it handles engines in the 30 to 40 horsepower range with steady, dependable performance. Pilots report hands-off and in perfect trim behavior while cruising. Typical performance includes speeds around 60 miles per hour, stalls near 26 miles per hour, and climb rates close to 1,000 feet per minute. Its full-span ailerons allow crisp roll response, while the sturdy landing gear handles unimproved strips with ease. It's the kind of ultralight that feels far more capable than it looks. Its true charm lies in how approachable the build is. With no welding and minimal specialized tools required, many construct the A-plane in small garages using only a drill, wrench, and creativity. Build time ranges between 150 and 200 hours. Once complete, it provides flight that feels free of complications, but full of satisfaction. And for those who sought more than simplicity, those who dreamed of water takeoffs, bold lines, and sci-fi silhouettes, there was one design that stood out. It looked like something from another world and flew with power to match. The Diehl Xis Tê Cê shocked ultralight circles in the early 1980s with its futuristic canard design, twin vertical tails, and amphibious versatility. Made in the United States, it flew with a Rotax two-stroke engine producing 45 horsepower and reached speeds over 100 miles per hour. Its striking layout looked like science fiction, but its performance proved it was very real and well ahead of its time. Its sleek profile came from lightweight composite construction with folding wings and retractable gear. Builders could store it in a garage or haul it on a trailer. The design allowed for operation from both land and water, giving pilots a new level of freedom in the ultralight category. It wasn't just about innovation, it was about going further in every sense of the word. Kits were offered for home assembly with factory-formed parts, appealing to bold builders. But in 1983, a national TV report caused panic around ultralight safety. Orders dried up and production halted. What remained was a limited number of completed aircraft, each now considered a collector's treasure, with some fetching over $20,000. Though its production ended early, the Diehl Xis Tê Cê lives on in memory as one of the boldest experimental machines of its time. And as we leave its sleek, canard-driven silhouette behind, we return to something warmer and more familiar. An aircraft made of wood, shaped by hand, and beloved for its timeless simplicity and smooth flight. The Baker Bobcat was built for enthusiasts who wanted a wood-framed ultralight with a classic look and smooth handling. Designed by Bobby Baker, it used bonded and bolted timber sections with fabric skin and a two-stroke engine generating up to 50 horsepower. With speeds over 60 miles per hour, it flew like a dream, stable, responsive, and always composed on approach. Its original version was admired for charm and simplicity, but it was the evolution into the Super Cat that made it a national star. In 1994, it won Best Light Aircraft at the Oshkosh Air Show, earning respect for its craftsmanship and refined flight qualities. Builders loved its clear documentation and forgiving structure, ideal for small workshops and limited budgets. The kit encouraged full customization. Whether builders wanted open cockpit or enclosed, minimal instruments, or a fully equipped dash, the Bobcat delivered. Pilots praised its ability to absorb crosswinds and its durability over time. It wasn't a race machine, it was a joy machine, made for low-level scenic cruising and the hands-on joy of aviation tradition. With an average completed cost of around $14,000, it offered remarkable value for a wood-framed aircraft. And just when you think you've seen all home-built aviation has to offer, one design appears that blends elegance, composite science, and long-range performance into a sleek, unforgettable machine. The Cozy Mark IV represents a turning point in home-built aviation. Unlike the wood-framed ultralights that came before, it features composite construction using fiberglass, resin, and foam core in a sandwich design. This technique allows for smooth, aerodynamic curves and a lightweight but incredibly strong structure. With seating for 4 and cruise speeds over 200 knots, it brings real cross-country capability to the garage builder. Developed by Nat Puffer as an evolution of the Rutan Long EZ, it uses a pusher configuration with a rear engine and forward canard, delivering both aerodynamic efficiency and stall resistance. Builders typically install Lycoming engines rated between 180 and 200 horsepower. The result is a range beyond 1,000 nautical miles, making it capable of serious travel, not just weekend hops. Every part of its design screams efficiency. Its long, sleek fuselage and narrow wing profile reduce drag, while the composite materials resist corrosion and fatigue. Builders craft each section with foam shaping and fiberglass layering, forming an aircraft that feels more like a professionally engineered product than a weekend project. Its stability in turbulence and crisp handling are often compared to certified aircraft. The Cozy Mark IV stands as proof that home-built aviation doesn't need to sacrifice comfort or range. With its sleek profile, composite strength, and serious cruising power, it redefines what a garage-built airplane can achieve. It's not just about getting off the ground, it's about doing so with confidence, efficiency, and style. For builders drawn to nostalgia, minimalism, and timeless engineering, another design continues to inspire across generations. The Mignet H M 293 is a post-war icon of grassroots aviation. Created in France in 1946, it evolved from the famous flying Flea concept. Using tandem wings and no ailerons, it simplifies control and structure. Most were built at home with wood and fabric, but many versions used foam and even cardboard panels, showing how creativity turned basic materials into real flying machines. Its wings fold for storage, making it perfect for builders with limited space. Many aircraft used adapted Volkswagen engines, delivering between 40 and 60 horsepower, cruising near 70 miles per hour. Though visually unorthodox, its flight behavior is steady and predictable. Pilots often describe it as forgiving, with excellent visibility and low stall speed, ideal for relaxed flying from short fields. The philosophy behind this aircraft was never about performance, it was about access. Henri Mignet wanted anyone to build and fly their own airplane. The HM 293 delivered that promise. Without ailerons, it taught pilots to fly by feel, using pitch and yaw in harmony. Its strange look earned curiosity, but its gentle flight turned doubters into believers. To this day, the design inspires aviators seeking simplicity and soul over specs. The Mignet HM 293 closes our journey through foam, cardboard, wood, and dreams. Because in aviation, innovation doesn't always mean technology. Sometimes it just means believing that the sky belongs to everyone willing to build their own wings. What if flying didn't rely on high-end parts, but on imagination? These handcrafted ultralights prove that limits are built, not born. Their stories make us question what's possible, and maybe build something bold ourselves. Curious? Leave a comment. Inspired? Hit like. Want more? Subscribe and keep building with us. Watch the videos appearing on your screen, and stay with us. Bye-bye.